Hello, everyone. My name is Nidah Shahid, and welcome to another episode of Persivia Perspective. Today, we have Imran Ali here with us, who is the Enterprise Architect Engineering Manager of Persivia. And today, we have a really important topic to speak on, which is the unstructured data. We think it is the elephant in the interoperability room. So, to support this, according to Becker's, unstructured data makes up around 80% of clinical data within healthcare organizations. That's actually not a small problem, it's a vast and daily challenge. Think clinical notes, referrals, scan reports, PDFs, imaging files, it's everywhere and it's deeply entrenched. At major healthcare organizations like Mayo Clinic, medical records are still being faxed. Unlike structured data, such lab results or billing codes, uh, unstructured data, on the other hand, includes physician notes, scanned documents, and imaging file. This type of data makes up for majority of critical patient information, yet remains siloed and unstandardized. So let's start with the big picture here. Why is healthcare still so reliant on unstructured data, and what are the root causes that are making it so hard to move away from it?
Thank you so much for inviting me and giving me this opportunity to explain this issue. So, as you know, we in most of the EHR in hospitals, we have legacy EHRs and EHR system. So that is one issue. And another thing is lack of data standards. So our data is not very standard, and even interoperability effort like HL7 and 5 are unevenly adopted, and most of the EHR is still on HL7 version 2, which is not very mature. And like we have the smart file and file standard that yet to be adopted by majority of EHRs and healthcare systems. Another thing is free text culture. We have the handwritten notes, we have the free text notes within the EHR. They are giving the leverage of writing freehand notes to the doctors and clinical staff. That is also impacting it. And we also have the multiple silo of data information. Like we have the splitted data across EHRs, labs, imaging centers, and pairs. So there is no single source of data. So that's the key issues, or core issues of our healthcare system.
Thank you so much, sir, for answering that. So, but from a clinical side, what does this actually mean for a provider, and how does this flood of unstructured data impact their ability to deliver care, especially in complex or longitudinal cases?
Uh, Very good question. So, for provider and patient point of view, both I will consider it is time consuming. Like hunting the data and switching across the tabs or moving around the tabs or moving around the system. And we don't have the longitudinal record. Plus, we have data buried in files as well, or in unstructured PDF formats and other things. So, for hunting the information or hunting the data is really time consuming. It is really hurting the our time, money, and both providers and patient. And also, it is not very accurate. It can result in duplicate care. It can also break down our continuity of care. Like we can miss the AW visits, or we can ping patient from multiple appointments and other stuff. So that is really helpful if we have the structured data and we have smart solutions for healthcare providers and patients.
That sounds like a huge problem indeed. So let's talk about now the downstream effects and what's the cost in both in terms of dollars and outcomes of relying on unstructured data, and how does this affect things like care coordination, risk scoring, and quality reporting?
As I mentioned, first of all is the administrative cost. It will increase the administrative cost and maintenance cost. Let's say if we are storing documents directly and we have extra staff to record the data and other stuff. So that is the really administrative cost and overhead of administrative staff and other stuff. And also there is inaccurate quality and risk scores. because of unstructured data, we may miss the information which is not structured and properly utilized. And it may impact in like misdiagnosis or suboptimal treatment or delays in intervention. And that's how our care coordination suffers.
That does sound very problematic again. So, but from a payer perspective and payer and provider perspective, what are their unmet needs and how does unstructured data challenge value-based care models and what should payers or ACOs be asking for to bridge this data gap?
So, lack of complete or longitudinal data, as we were discussing, we don't have any structured application or platform for better disease progression or behavior cure, or because things are unstructured and non-contained, and the lack of semantic information sharing with ACOs and peers. They have extra burden of documentation for peers and billing and other stuff. So that's why it is impacting them very hard.
I see. Thank you so much for answering that. Many platforms focus solely on structured data, but Persevere leans into unstructured data. What was the thinking behind this, and how is our platform built differently than others?
I believe you just pinpoint the issue. As we were discussing and mentioning that there is unstructured data and unstandard data everywhere. So that around 80% data, as you mentioned earlier, that we have around 80% data unstructured. So that is the big elephant. So Persivia is hunting that elephant so that we can provide better care to our patients and providers, and so that providers can better care to patients. That's how it will improve the diagnosis in save the cost and everything.
I see. So it leads to less switching of tabs and which causes the burnout. How exactly does Persevere ingest, normalize, and make unstructured data usable in real time for point of care decision making?
So the Persivia is very data centric system, and we are support very rich or variety of data feeds. Like we are supporting HL7, we are supporting CCDAs, we are supporting SmartFire. We can just PDF and we can read data using from PDF. We can extract data from PDF using OCRs, and we can consume scanned images and faxes. And we also have the direct integration with 80 plus EHRs, and we are consuming their feed directly on daily basis as per our need or as per providers or their needs. And beside that, we have the uh, automated and smart data extraction and parsing process and platforms that is helping the better processing or efficient processing of data so that it will be real time available to our providers so they can provide the better care.
Thank you. That's really informative. But where does AI and ML come into play in our platform CareSpace then? And how do we make sure that the clinical nuisance uh, isn't lost in translation when surfacing insights from unstructured records?
So we are also codifying the data. We are standardizing the data. Whatever unstructured data we are going to consume, we are structuring it and we are codifying it. Like we are using multiple like CPD code, ICD norms, norm code, and everything. So for AI component point of view, we have many AI based component. One of the key component is our Soliton AI engine, and Soliton AI engine have around hundred of thousands of rules, which is useful and providing us help in like care gaps identification, care alerts, and risk score calculation. Beside that, we are also designing new solutions. Like we have one patent, AI-based patent, because we recently have. So we are designing that solution as well. I believe that information is also available on our website. So also that for risk calculation and other stuff and predictions, we are using our AI tools and models and which we are continuously making improve by passage of time, which we are continuously improving by passage of time.
Thank you, sir. If you could redesign interoperability in the US from scratch, especially when unstructured data, keeping unstructured data in mind, what's one bold idea you would implement?
Oh, let me think, but that's a really good question. I believe the data standardization and automatic recording of data, like use of IoT devices as much as possible, so that our data will be accurate, mass efficient, and real time. Plus standardization of data, so that we have one standard format of recording data across EHR. We can have multiple EHR implementation, but there should be one standardization. As we have German and German certification in US as a standard, they are providing some sort of standardization that uh, like for to qualify efficient EHR or reporting, you have to be German certified. But that is one thing. But still, that is very open, and we I need to like pinpoint and narrow down and standardize the format, something like that, data exchange format. Like smart file is just the start, and file format HL7, we have to standardize towards format, and we also need to standardize the use of those formats so that everyone should be using a standardized format in a standard way. So I believe that is one thing I like to introduce or use from start.
Excellent idea, sir. My last question to you is finally, where are we headed? Are we realistically moving towards a future of semantic interoperability, or is it still more than a buzzword than a reality?
I believe we are moving on continuously. We are moving in continuous phase. Continuous. Sorry, let me repeat here now. I believe yes, we are moving in continuously, but our pace is uneven. So that uh, if we take the right initiatives, we use the AI and smart tools, NLP, machine learning, then we can make this buzzword into reality. Otherwise, it will be pretty hard for us and everyone in this industry. So we need to be smart, efficient, and vigilant while using the solutions. Let's say everyone is talking about AI agents. There is also a report that after by 2020-30, more than 55 AI agents will be obsolete. But that is because people are using it like people are using it without thinking. So we need to be smart and utilize, just pinpoint the problem, solution that should be helpful for provider, patient, and provide the better care.
Thank you so much. That was excellent, sir. And I think it was really informative. Hopefully, we'll do this again soon.
Thank you so much, Indra. And thank you so much again for inviting me.